So look, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all at all whatsoever because I would never do that. Um, I was finna go to sleep. I was in Betty Bye land. I was heading that direction, right? But what I do in the bed sometimes as I'm laying my head down to sleep, as most of us do, I have a tendency to go ahead and scroll through the Twitter, thetwitter.com. And most importantly, you know what I'm saying, just checking in with the general pulse of, my community, my Spurs fandom community, my Spurs family. And just the general tone, I think, is what it was that just ended up kind of generally hurting my feelings a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a little bit of panic that has kind of set into the Spurs aura right now, like a little bit of freak outedness. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know. For me, maybe just because I like to think that I'm a seasoned Spurs fan at this point, being that my birthday was on the 5th. You know what I'm saying, or whatever else. So your boy starting to get old and crusty a little bit. I don't feel panic like that. I just don't. I don't think that what we've seen. So okay. So hear me out. I know. We've had a couple of back to back bad losses, right? Literally back to back, which was not. I don't think that helped at all either. The Raptors game was rough. I was becoming a little bit older that day, and knowing that honestly both of the teams that I like did not perform very well that day. It kind of hurt my feelings. I'm not gonna lie to you. Did I take it as a personal attack? Maybe, but that's also none of your business. So, but yeah, nah, bro, they ain't play. The Raptors game was a rough game, right? And then to follow it up with a Pacers game where you let them drop damn near 160 points on your head top, just isn't a good vibe. You know what I mean? And so I understand it. Like, I understand the general like tone of like fire Greg Popovich and like, none of these players can ever play basketball, and I hate Jeremy Sohan, and like all of these different wild Twitter narratives that I hear by having my ear to the streets and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't be panicking, right? I know there's a kind of general sense of fear when somebody puts 160 on you, but like, you shouldn't panic. Number one, I know it's gonna sound cliche. I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually enjoy cliches, but I try not to give them to people because then they be like, you fake. I don't want to be fake. It's an 82 game season. You know what I mean? Genuinely though. Not only have we not gotten even two handfuls into the season yet, as far as games are concerned, we also, like, the general expectation for this team was to win 35 to 40 games, right? I don't think that that's crazy to say, right? I think that we forget that if you're winning 40 games and it's an 82 game season, that means for every hip hip hooray, there's gonna be like, oh damn, like that. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it works, right? Like 82 minus 40 is 42. That took me too long. That's on me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna get more losses than wins, big dog. Like, that's just how it is, right? There are gonna be some of them back-to-backs that just were kind of rough. Like, you know what I mean? There's gonna be some games in general that we just let get away from us because we are too young. You know what I mean? And a little inexperienced and a little excited and a little all of that, right? Still trying to figure out, what we doing out there, all of that. So, you know, I just we gonna lose a lot of games. We're not gonna be a 500 team this year. I don't think. Now, I've also seen things this year that I've not ever thought that I'd ever see in my life. So, I'm happy to be wrong as hell. But yeah, no, I don't think that you're gonna, really, really be a 500 team. And that's okay. That's totally fine. Do not be mad at that at all whatsoever. Win your 35 and 40 games and be totally fine and happy that's what's happening. Like, do not be mad at that at all. But yeah, another reason you should not be panicking is like Devin Vassell has proven himself to, for all intents and purposes, be our best player. Right? I feel like there are people who are like getting their keyboards out to curse me out in multiple languages right now. But I just, I understand Victor Wembanyama is a thing and is on our team. But right now, Victor Wembanyama is 19, right? He's an absolutely insanely talented player, but I don't think that he's the best player on the team right now. You know what I mean? Which, of course, yeah, I'm sure that you've heard me say, like, look, I'm going to be straight up. If you got me in the right room, you probably didn't heard me say Victor Wembanyama is the best basketball player to ever touch the face of the earth. But I don't believe that all the way in my heart, for real. You know what I'm saying? My heart believe that, but like I don't believe that in my heart all the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm full of shit, I know. But still, like I just, Devin Vassell, for all intents and purposes, is the player who's going to be the most consistent at any given point in time on the court, right? With a San Antonio Spurs jersey on. He's the person who got paid all that money he got paid, which was every single penny was worth it, because you see what happens when there's a Devin Vassell sized hole on the team, right? So, I think that we shouldn't be panicking because Devin Vassell ain't nothing happened to that man for real. He's straight. He's, getting his good old fashioned NBA workouts out. And I feel like, 3 games from now, we'll see Devin Vassell again and we'll start racking up a couple of wins in a row, that type of thing. Right. But yeah, I feel like we forget sometimes that Devin Vassell is that guy. Like he's him for real. He makes really, really, crazy tough shots. He's, a spark plug, as in you can tell it starts to get off the rails a little bit, especially offensively. And there goes Devin with the big shot. Right. I think Doug McDermott tries to do that in that same type of vein. But Devin Vassell he's that guy for real. So let's not take him for granted. Like having him on the court, is going to result in more wins, point blank, period. Right. So, and then just, another point. Greg Popovich said, for all intents and purposes, like the first part of this year, we just hooping. We just old fashioned playing a little basketball. That's all that is. You know what I mean? I feel like they're taking this first 20 games of the season, this first quarter of the season, right, to literally just throw them dudes out there, watch them play basketball together, see what we have, but also in seeing what we have, also see what we're missing, right? That type of thing. And so do not be surprised if some of the same problems that we have right now are still kind of actively problems, you know what I mean, 10 games from now as well. Because I think right now that's the point, right? We're going to see what it looks like when these dudes are just thrown together and they have to fend for themselves, right? In what ways do they grow? In what ways are they regressing over this period of time, right? You want to have enough data over a long enough period of time that you can actually make real assessments and not just be making those assessments from emotion, right? So yeah, I think this first 20 games is about getting data points so that they can put it into they smart NBA people algorithms and, you know what I'm saying, do that type of thing. But I think it's also like data points for the trade deadline this year. You know what I mean? If that's something that they're planning on taking a look at. And then, of course, the draft season here coming up at the end of the damn season. I don't know why I say it coming up like it's going to be next month or something, like, nah. But you know what I mean? Of course, just like anybody else in the NBA, you're always looking at, who the next guy's coming in. How can they impact my team potentially? Where is my team planning on being in order to get certain people? Like, of course, if we as fans are thinking about it, NBA front offices, and especially NBA front offices as good as the San Antonio Spurs front office, have been thinking about that 2, 3, 4, 5 years ahead type of thing. So, genuinely, I think these first, 20 games or so are going to be nothing but data point type of games. And that should be totally fine. I think we're going to see absolutely amazing basketball. I think we're going to see, 46-point quarters like what we saw against, I think it was the Warriors. You know what I mean? I think we're going to see Victor Wembanyama continue to do insane shit on the court every single day, every single game, you know what I mean, type of thing. I think that we are going to continue to see certain guys blossom and kind of see certain guys fit themselves into roles in a way that, like, you can tell wasn't a defined, like, hey, you go do, this thing on the court type of thing. So that'll be exciting to see. And I think you'll see more of it, you know what I'm saying? Especially getting towards the end of that 20 games type of thing. So, and then just kind of last thing, like, I feel like sometimes we forget and we take for granted, like, I'm stealing this from like my guy Vach Lombardi. Shout out Vach. Mid-season form is a real thing. Genuinely, mid-season form is a real thing. I don't think that we're ever going to get to the point where, in the middle of the season, we got situations where we finna win a championship or something like that. Like, I don't think it's going to be nothing like that, right? The team ain't going to magically become, endowed with some additional talents or something like that. I don't think it's going to be nothing like that. But genuinely having 40 games under your belt, right, where you guys have played together, y'all have had enough road games, y'all have had enough home games, y'all have had enough weird situations happen in between, things in here. Sometimes we forget that people are human, right? So at the beginning of the season, like, you're not used to traveling and going back and forth all the time, the way that you have to in the NBA and things like that. So just getting used to being on the road all the time and having a new routine in that way. And you know what I mean? It eventually starts to kind of become just that, more routine, right? By the time that you make it halfway through an NBA season, which is, long as hell already anyway. Mid-season form is a real thing. Let these guys keep practicing. Let these guys keep moving around. Let these guys keep learning more about each other. Let these guys keep, growing in their own personal games, and then growing in the way that those lobs to Wemby are going to start becoming second nature to the whole team, right? Realizing, like, damn, this dude just tall as hell is going to become second nature to the whole team. Remember, if you're on somebody else's team and you don't know how to defend them because you've never seen none of this, and you don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? You don't know how to game plan for them because you've never seen any of this. Where do you think our players are? We also ain't never seen nothing like this, right? So we've also never been in this. We've played with Jakob Poeltl, who is 7 foot and some change, and what's that man's name? Why am I drawing the blank? Boban, who is way taller than he needs to be, and in both of those situations, right? It wasn't the same, like, oh, I'm just finna throw the ball in some general direction and he gonna catch that thing. Like, that's not, those players have played with 7-footers before, and it's not the same type of thing, right? The radius is not the same, the gravity is not the same, right? Type of thing. So all of that is gonna take some getting used to, right? I think sometimes we talk a little bit a lot about, like, them not passing Wemby the ball, right? It's a problem. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that there are certain situations where I'm like, yo, my man's is like extra open, y'all. Like, If you was playing 2K and you didn't pass that ball in 2K, you'd be mad at yourself, right? Like that type of thing, right? And so I get it. I think some of it is that he gets double teamed, especially when Devin's not on the floor. Like he's getting at least pseudo double teamed on damn near every play, which makes sense. That's what you should be doing, because then you're making the other guys on the court have to prove it, and we don't really have prove it guys right now, which goes back to the point, right? Mid-season form is a thing. I think certain guys are going to realize, like, I think Malachi Branham is getting a really good group of opportunities because he's going to ultimately end up being one of those, okay, cool, y'all ain't getting it popping, I'm finna get it popping type of guys, right? And we need those. Wemby ain't gonna be on every game. There's gonna be games where he go to a 15 or whatever he went and only scored 13 points, which a 13-point double-double, I'm not mad at. I'm not gonna lie. If he averaged 17 and 10 in his rookie year, I'm not gonna be mad at that. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, but whatever. I think it was more so about the performance. Like, we're used to you obviously being more than that. You not only didn't really get a whole bunch of shots, but you also didn't. I'm talking about the Pacers game. It hurt my feelings. You can tell I keep saying 160, so you can tell that it was only 152. But you can tell that them putting up all them points on us hurt my feelings. But no, I just say all this to say, like, even with the 2 bad wins, even with them, bad losses, excuse me, and even with the the pain that kind of comes from that, we're fine. We're good. Yeah, you can take some of the angst out of your voice when you're tweeting your tweets. We're fine. Please like and subscribe. I love you guys. Honestly, I'm kind of awake now. Y'all done got me worked up. So I'm probably finna get about this hot blanket. It's cozy. I love y'all. Y'all be good.